All right, I'm getting a late start today. It's already past 7:10 in the morning, and let's see what we get for the day. Just recording here. Kind of a possible PB. I don't think
Order
it's
submitted.
going to be one, but just in case. Need to close up here somewhere. And
Order
like
canceled.
not in place. All right, looking for a possible
Order
LO
submitted.
here. We get a bullish bar. May qualify 2 ticks above it. No bullish bar. No. Actually, could be an LO still on this bar if we have a bullish bar. And then 2 ticks above this one to trigger. Can't pull back though, and can't end an inside bar.
Order filled.
Here we go. I'm actually surprised it didn't push there. Feeling sort of weird about this. I might take break even +1 if I can. Stop's actually supposed to be lower. All right, let's see what happens here. I might consider getting out of this if it doesn't push right now. I want to see a good strong push here. If it doesn't push here, I got to get out. I don't like this at all. I'm going to reduce my risk. This doesn't look good. Give it one last chance. I'm going to get out break even +1 if it gives it to me. I'd rather just be safe and get out if I can, and reduce risk too. Reducing risk. I'll take a small loss. I don't like this at all. Looks like I'm going to get hit here. I'd rather take a small loss, though. It just didn't play out the way I wanted it.
Order filled.
Okay. So the reason I did that is just so that it just wasn't playing out. And I could just tell the way this is going. It looks like it's going to roll over. It hit resistance at the opening price. And I've noticed with the LOs, if it doesn't do it on the second try, typically it's not going to work out. There's no reason to take a loss all the way down here when it didn't work on the first push or the second push. Now let's see. It'll probably take me out and go, but it is what it is. So I've got my fourth loss on YouTube now. The LO is the only one that I've been losing on. So clearly there's a lower, funny it's called LO, and there's a lower probability, I suppose. Lost. And what did we lose here? 2 3/4 points. All right. Yeah, look at this. Now it's going to go up. So if I had left it under here, maybe I would have been safer. In any case, I'd rather take the small loss and live to fight another day. I did separate my PA1 from my PA4 or for my PA3 because they're both getting very close to payout. And I don't want them to be tied together in case I got a loss like this. So even though I had a little bit of a setback on this PA getting to a payout, now what I'll do is I will switch. Look, so it came back down. I would have got stopped out either way. Now what I'll do is I'll rotate to this one next because I figure I won't likely get a second loss in a row. And we'll rotate back to this one if I get a trade on this one. And that's kind of how I'm going to play. I'm just going to keep them separate for now. And what I may do as well, is now I have 5 PAs. I think what I'll do is the original intention was to play, 3 and 4 together. And when I get new ones, play 1 and 2 together. So that's what I may do next is link 1 and 2 together and start playing that one that hasn't been used yet. And so that's kind of how I'm doing it. That way, no matter what, one loss doesn't devastate my PA accounts, having some separation. So let's see what else happens here. That was a bummer, but losses happen. Let's move on. All right, and so we had a big move down after that. I really thought we would just go, it's been kind of a range day, so I really thought we would just make it our way back to the top here. Didn't happen, but I'm glad I reduced my risk because you see, after pushing once and pushing twice and it not working out, I would have just taken maximum loss here, which would have, I think been around 7+ points. So instead we only lost 2 3/4 points. That could be made up in 1 or 2 trades, profitable after 2 more trades. So it is what it is. I don't think there's ever going to be a perfect strategy that wins 100% of the time. And if I look here, my entrance was at 403 and it went to 404.25. So it was good for a 4-tick scalp. So anytime I see something good for a 4-tick scalp, I kind of think like, well, it wasn't a bad trade. It worked for a max scalp, but it just didn't go to my 8 ticks. So that happens sometimes. I take on extra risk by going for 8 ticks. All right, I had taken a quick break and come back and refreshed my chart. And there's just the slightest difference in these bars after a refresh. That I don't know if it would have changed my mind about taking the trade, but it would have made me look at it slightly differently. It is what it is. I mean, the thing too is we're trading right into the opening price, and I always know that can be a resistance point when you've fallen under it and you're coming back up. And it's really only the second time we've come back to it, kind of here. It's resistance here, resistance here. So I think this is like the second or third time that I've taken a loss when I've traded right into it. And because it's a momentum play, I mean, I'm kind of figuring it's going to get the momentum to push through it and give me my scalp. In this case, it only went 5 ticks from my entry point to the top and then reversed. So I don't think it was a bad trade. I think it fit all my rules. And I think I did the right thing by reducing risk here. I think that was smart because my loss would have been a full loss over 7 points. So I saved myself more than half the loss by moving it up when I was seeing that it didn't make it on the first push and it wasn't able to do it on the second push. I was hoping I'd get a third chance, which I guess I could have got about break even here. But I like to give it a chance for a third push. And when I saw it wasn't happening, I just think that was the best thing to do. And I'm kind of learning that over time to, take a small loss is better than a bigger loss according to how my stop rules are with the indicator. And so this is a recoverable amount, whether it's today or tomorrow or it takes me to Friday, it doesn't matter. And I'll be playing PA number 4 and PA number 3 together, and I won't trade PA 1 again on the next trade. And my main goal is getting to a payout, so I'm going to focus just on making a good trade so we get a win for this PA on one contract and continue that journey, and then I can switch back and see if we can recover some of this. All right, that's all I got for now. Let's see what happens. All right, recording here. Possible LO again.
Order submitted.
Get my order ready. We've had a big move down since my losing trade. We had one leg down, so I'm kind of looking for a target of another leg down. So if this bar is bearish, which it just went the other way, so this just canceled.
Order canceled.
Possibility of an LO here on this bar. So never mind. All right, 10-10. There's a possible PB coming up. There's one aspect of it that I don't like, and I don't like that it's setting up to go long into the close of yesterday. I talked about this on my losing trade today, but trading into the open, trading into the previous day's close, those are areas where there can be some resistance. It's a judgment call. And there's one aspect that I've been kind of watching on PBs in terms of there's this resistance here. And so there's something I've been kind of watching with my indicator specific thing to see if trading the PB when it looks like it does currently right now is not the highest probability if it sets up gold. But I'm going
Order
to get ready to make
submitted.
a judgment call. If it gets up there, I'm basically looking for it to close somewhere up here, a bullish bar. And that might be a setup. Still waiting for my indicator to give the full indication of a setup. The other thing I can do, just from my old days of max price action trading system, is say, is there room for a measured move still? Which is kind of what I was thinking earlier today on my loss. That if we look back here, we had this leg up. So I was looking to see if there was going to be another leg up. I had my signal. So it was kind of in my head another reason to go long there, even though I was going into the opening price that I just mentioned. So let's see what happens here. I did switch my PA accounts, so I'm now trading 3 and 4. This one is turned off for my next trade, and I did switch, so now 18 and 21 are now on, and 19 and 20 are off. It's just how I'm managing my Apex strategy. And maybe I'll talk about that in my summary for today, some of my Apex management. Market is extremely slow right now too, and we have news in 45 minutes, FOMC. So I have that in mind as well. I probably won't take a trade if it sets up in too much more time. It needs to happen pretty soon here. Otherwise, I feel like we're getting pretty close, and the market's really slowed down in anticipation of that. So just going to make a judgment call if we get a close up here, based on if my indicator is even giving all of the signals for the rule, for all my rules to be in place. Right now, still waiting on one factor to line up. Looks like we're turning away, which isn't surprising. Kind of a triple top here. Okay. So it's going to have to close higher still. We're getting close to the measured move. So still no trigger yet. And clearly moving the wrong direction now. So doesn't look like this is happening right now. If
Order
anything, I might
canceled.
get a signal the other direction on my new setup, on my third setup that I haven't been trading yet. I'm just going to watch. I'm actually going to get
Order
a short
submitted.
order ready, just in case. I might consider taking this if this is my new set, my third setup that I've been working on, just for a chance to see it play out in real time and see if it actually works. I don't even have a name for it yet. It doesn't look like it's going to set up. No. Okay.
Order
Maybe
canceled.
that's for the best. All right. I'm going to pause here. All right. I'm watching this. We're getting close to FOMC.
Order submitted.
But if this is a bearish bar, I have a measured move still in play for the second leg down. So let's see if we get a bearish bar here. This may give me a LO to the short side. If it retraces up any further, it'll probably invalidate a trade. I'm trying to keep in mind measured moves of legs, something that I take from Mac's teachings of price action trading system that I used to trade. So I'm just trying to keep that in mind with this strategy as well, if there's room for a measured move or not. I'm going to have to wait for the close of this bar to decide if this is a trade. And with 20 minutes before the news, I think there's time. And there's no trade here.
Order canceled.
I look for what I call a BT before my signal bar, and this is not a BT. I guess I should start using that term just to, just so that as I talk about my trades, that's something that is in my mind. And I know since you guys aren't seeing my actual indicator, you won't know what that exactly is, but I look for a BT, what I call a BT here, and it wasn't. So that's one of the rules that's not in place for any trade here. And it just didn't trigger anyway, so it doesn't even matter. Just thought I'd mention that as well. All right, I wasn't paying attention.
Order submitted.
Did this trigger? Only went one tick. Looks like it's reversing, so
Order canceled.
actually it would be a white LO right now, so I'm not going to take it regardless. No, it doesn't trigger anyway. Okay, recording here. Possible
Order
LO.
submitted.
Have it solid RA2 legs measured up, but there might be a bigger leg. Might be looking for a bigger target here. So I think I'll take this if it sets up. I've rotated some of the accounts I'm trading on. So 2 ticks above this bar. Will give me a setup.
Order filled.
Okay, I'm in. Oh no. Don't do that to me. Come on. LOs are making me sweat these days. When you're trading a momentum trade, you don't want to see a pullback on your entry. Market's been very slow all day. Just thinking it would make it back to the top. I'm gonna put it under this swing, I think. Definitely not feeling good about this at the moment. Is this going to be my first 2-loss day on YouTube? Well, that's not good. If it makes a push up, I'll put my stop loss under this swing. I want to wait for this candle to close. I'm just going to manage this. I'm going to let it try to push one more time and judge whether I need to get out at break even plus one. If it even gets there to give me a chance to do that. All right, so at this point, if it comes back below this pivot, it's going to lose anyway, is how I see it. So now I'm going to try to manage whether I let it get all the way to my profit target or if I try to get out break even plus one. I'd like to let it try to go. It's having a hard time here. Gonna wait for the end of this candle. I'm just gonna take it.
Order filled.
All right. I don't want to be greedy or stubborn here. Just not worth it to me to. I already see it's struggling. We already had one major pullback, and if this bar had finished bullish, I would have hung in there. But the fact that it closed kind of more bearish than even neutral, just I think it's just safer, better to take a very small win and live to fight another day than, having more red accounts. And so let's mark that up. This was a gold setup. It was a LO. And we did get, I believe, two ticks, and you can see it's pulling back. So I'm feeling like I made a good decision. Lost momentum. And with this pullback, I think I did the right thing, whether this ends up going back up and getting to that profit target or not. I'll take these small greens. Got a little bit back on some of these other accounts. And, the LO is a tricky setup because you really need that momentum to be strong when you're entering. And you can see here it was already showing signs before my entry that it wasn't that strong. It's not like this push and this push. It's you can tell it's kind of wavering already. So maybe that's something I have to take into account. I kind of do already, but maybe I need to put a little bit more focus on it to determine whether I enter a trade or not. If I'm seeing something like this prior, maybe that's a sign that I need to beware. But all in all, I'm just trying to document my trades and take the setup when it comes. And if the rules are in place, I'm just trying to take them. And and we all see whoever's watching this, and really just for me, I can look back and I can just see where it was working, where it wasn't working, what happened. And I have screenshots of my indicator as well to let me know, so I can go back and look, compare it to the video and say, okay, here, these bars were like this prior. Maybe it was, telling me that momentum is waning. You don't want to take a momentum trade, which is what the LO is. You don't want to take that if the momentum is already visibly waning. So something to keep in mind. Let's see what else we have for the day. I'm going to stick around for another 20 minutes, and maybe I'll go back and switch back to my number one account since we got a little green on this one. Or I might just take off the PAs altogether and just play the evaluation if another setup comes. We'll see. All right, pausing here. All right, just coming back to record here. It's making another push up. I would have still been safe even where I moved my stop. So maybe it's going to go and eventually get my total profit target that I was looking for. I'm still, either way, I'm happy with what I did. I didn't want to sit through another one of these kinds of pullbacks. This pullback is already painful to go through when you enter a trade and it goes against you immediately. So I think the wise thing for how I trade and for what I'm comfortable with is considering I'm trading for momentum. I'd rather, be thankful that it came back and let me get out here for a 2-tick profit than, sit through this and potentially fail again a third time even, and then end up taking a full loss. It's just not worth it to me to have that kind of up and down. These LOs are designed to work almost immediately. And if it doesn't work immediately, it should work on the second push. So to me, if it doesn't work on a second push, I really just don't want to be a part of it anymore. If this bar had finished bullish, like I said, I would have stuck in it. I would have felt more comfortable. But the fact that it finished like this, I'm not surprised. It had another deep pullback again. And who knows if it's going to get there or not now. My entry was 98.75, and the high here is 4,400, which is, right at that important round number. So again, it went 5 ticks. This is how I lost my trade earlier. It went 5 ticks and then went completely against me. It went 5 ticks here, clearly struggling. It's struggling again right now. I'm going to pause and see if this takes out this low right now, then we'll know that I would have been stopped out. I'm going to pause it and we'll see if it would have stopped out or not. When it happens, I'll come back. But I'm quite satisfied with what I did here. For me, this was the right decision. Somebody else might feel like, no, you entered the trade, you got to stick with it until you get your profit target. But I'm of a mind that I'm reading the price action as it goes. So if it's not doing what I entered the trade for it to do, I'm going to take my chance to get out for the small win and not be greedy or stubborn and think that I have to get my total profit or I'm going to take a total loss. I'm already red for the day, but this is manageable. This is, I have one good day tomorrow and I basically have it all back on one trade.
and two trades above where I was when I started. So that's okay with me. Yeah, I'm never going to tell anybody how they should trade. Uh, all I can do is trade what feels comfortable for me, and show what I'm doing. And then if anyone ever watches this, I'm happy to talk about it, answer questions, say why I'm doing things a certain way or whatnot. But really, again, this is a momentum play. So does this look like it? There's momentum here. I mean, it looks very weak. So I think it would be silly of me to change, or not get out when I did and try to write it out. And this looks so very much like it could just drop below here and take out where my stop would have been. And who knows, by now I might have moved my stop even here, just trying to save, from having a bigger loss. So now I moved it here from down here originally. So, look, I very well likely could have moved it here if I stayed in. And now, was that a loss already? 95. So not yet. It needs to go one tick lower for that to have stopped out here. But I'm just going to pause here, and I'll come back when we know one way or another what it would have done. All right, so just coming back. So right here, it ticked below this bar. So if I had gone stubborn and stayed in this trade, I very, very likely would have moved my stop up to below this one. So it would have been from 94 to 94.75. So I would have saved myself 3 ticks from where a loss would be here. And I'll pause again and see if we would have got below this bar. So 94 would have been my stop. So just coming back. So again, my original stop loss wasn't hit yet. I then moved it. What did I do? I entered here. I moved it under here once this went up. So then it would have been under here. I ended up getting out here. If I didn't get out there, I probably would have moved my stop up again like I did here to here. So I would have been stopped out here for a loss. And it hasn't hit this stop loss yet. But I think I definitely would have moved it. So I'm not sure if it even matters to track this anymore in terms of like, oh, would have hit this stop loss or PT first, or target profit first, TP first. But I'm pretty sure I would have been out of this trade for a loss when it came down here. So moving on, I got 10 minutes left, and then I'm calling it a day. This has been a pretty difficult day. Just not a lot of setups. It was an FOMC minutes news day, and I started the day late. I didn't start until somewhere around here, close to 7:10. Took a trade, got a loss at around 8 o'clock. And really, we had 2 legs down. That was a measured move. I'm trying to pay more attention to these measured moves. And then I was looking for a second leg up where I took my trade. I hadn't drawn that at the time, but in my mind that's what I was thinking. And you can see here, I'm trying to keep in mind measured moves. So I'll talk about it a little bit more in my summary when I stop in a few minutes here. But this is probably going to be the end of my day, I'm guessing, because market's just moving slow, and I doubt there'll be a setup for me in the next 8 minutes. But I'll hang. We'll see. If nothing else happens here to show you, then this will be the end of my video right now. Otherwise, I'll come back and show you how this turned out. All right, so just coming back, it's been a long while. I entered this trade at about 11:56. It's now 12:28. So we're talking about a half hour, and it looks like it's finally going to push. It needs to get to 4,075 cents for it to hit my profit target. If I would have left my stop at the original stop loss down here or here, then I wouldn't have been taken out here, and now it just hit. So I'm gonna have to consider how I think about this. It's interesting to me that it ultimately would have worked. It took a half an hour, so that certainly doesn't feel like the kind of trade I'm trying to take it for. A momentum trade, it should work in seconds or minutes, not 30 minutes. And I kind of feel like this was telling me momentum was dying here. So maybe that's a reason why I should consider this white instead of gold, although it ended up working out. So, some things to think about and consider. I still think, regardless, I did the right thing. But from the time I got out at 12:05, it took another 25 minutes for it to finally reach the target. And to suffer through this pullback, I probably would have been beating myself up saying, oh, I should have taken it when I could have, and why didn't I? And now I'm going to take a full loss. And I probably would have let fear guide me. And so then I probably would have moved my stop here to say, well, I can at least lower my loss by 3 ticks by moving it here instead of keeping it here. And then if I was still in, my stop loss would have been there, and then I would have got this loss by 1 single tick, and then it would have gone and hit the profit target, and then I'd be beating myself right now saying, what? It worked. Why did I move my stop? What was I thinking? I should have just left my stop alone and put it in the original place it was supposed to be. I would have never got stopped out. I would have got the full profit target, and then the day would be over. It's 12:30. I don't want to trade after 12:30, and I'd be just an emotional wreck right now, probably, in all honesty. Again, my ultimate target was up here because I figured we had 2 measured legs up, and the indicator gave me a setup that fit the rules. And so I was thinking, okay, well, if it's giving me a setup, it's probably 1 leg up and 2 legs up from what I learned from Pat's max price action trading system. And so I'm kind of just trying to keep that sort of thing in mind, because I do believe that these measured moves have some validity and really, do work well as a guide to what a target can be. And so, wow, what a day. I'm going to stop recording right now and end this video, and I'll record my summary that I put up front. And so I guess right now this will be the end of today's video. Got some small green on a few accounts and some red on more accounts. But this is a small loss, so I'm not too concerned about it. Easily can make it up tomorrow on one trade for the most part. So that's the end for today, and we'll do it again tomorrow. Thanks for watching.